Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. So apparently Peavey uses prison labor. This is news to me. So we have Peavey denies using prison labor to build guitar amps following resurfaced George Lynch allegations. The Dokken guitars and former Peavey artist first made the allegation while on a podcast in 2018. So was that like 5 years ago now? Peavey has categorically denied using prison labor to build his guitar amps after allegations made by George Lynch in a podcast 5 years ago recently resurfaced. The Dokken and Lynch mob electrical guitar player first made the allegations back in 2018 during an appearance on Island Music CEO's Determination and Overdrive podcast. While on the podcast, Lynch reflected on the time he spent as a Peavey artist in the 2000s and recalled one visit he made to the company's base of operations in Modernan, Mississippi. The town sort of exists for two things. It's the headquarters of Peavey, and there's a lot of prisons, he claimed at the time. And they also found out a lot of the prisoners work for Peavey. I don't think having slaves do your work for for-profit corporations is the right thing to do, he went on. But the thing is, they'll get away with it, which they were. Lynch also said he was once approached by Peavey to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that he'd promised to never reveal the fact that they used prison labor to build their amps. Lynch claims were resurfaced by YouTuber KDH, I know who that dude is, who suggested, that's the guy who threw Rob Chapman under the bus a while back, who suggested Lynch's departure from Peavey ranks, once rumored to be the result of contract disagreements, may have actually been linked to the allegations he made regarding the use of prison labor to build amps. I've searched high and low to find any reference to this anywhere, and I couldn't find it, YouTuber said in his videos, and that does speak to George's story about the NDA. If true, all the people that know about this can't say anything. Though KDH says he received no word from Peavey after requesting comments, the amp brand did issue a statement to Guitar.com in which the company says it had no record of being contacted by the YouTuber. So he's saying he reached out to Peavey. Peavey's saying no, he did not. However, in response to Lynch's allegations, Peavey denied using prison labor, stating Lynch is apparently confused with some other manufacturer or story that he was told, and is mistaken in his comment about Peavey using prison labor. Everywhere, Peavey said it had no record of any NDA with Lynch, only knowledge of a confidentiality section in his artist contract, which prevented the guitarist from unduly sharing internal details about the company. Peavey, well, I assume prison labor would be an internal detail about the company. Peavey finds no violation of Lynch's confidentiality agreement from his ergonomous statement, but has issue with the slanderous nature thereof. The statement went on, Peavey has employed thousands and thousands of employees who work diligently in our own manufacturing facilities. Mr. Lynch should retract his statement, confirming his comments and his understandings were incorrect. George Lynch has been contacted for comments. Okay, so they're trying to go after him for his comments about something he said 5 years ago, which who knows. The thing with prisoners is a lot of employers will not employ them. So is Peavey contracted with the prison to make amps? I don't think the government in any state would allow that. I could be wrong, but I do see it as here are some people that are fresh out of prison. They need a job. Nobody wants to hire them because they have a record. So Peavey is like, well, let's just hire them because we can get them for dirt cheap. I don't know what the heck. What is it? It was Mississippi, right? Yeah. Let's see what Mississippi's minimum wage is. Let's see. So Mississippi's minimum wage is the federal minimum wage, so $7.25 an hour. So I would classify this as skilled labor, meaning it should get paid significantly more than $7.25 an hour. I mean, you're wiring circuit boards. It's not, it's dangerous work. You have to know what you're doing. You can get electrocuted, especially if you're building amps there, which I know a lot of stuff at this point is, a lot of stuff is outsourced to China and they assemble it. So I don't know if they're actually still manufacturing in the U.S. I think that stopped, I want to say somewhere around 2014-ish, maybe a little sooner, maybe a little after, somewhere in that area where they essentially closed down a plant in the U.S. If you watch, this is also probably in reference to Undercover Boss. If you reference that, but basically at the end of it, it said Basically Peavey shut down. So they promised all of these employees, very hardworking, good people, all of these good things, and then they shut down the factory several months later and basically screwed all of them over. There was even a couple people that had new better jobs lined up, were ready to go, and they didn't because Peavey made them a promise and then did not keep that promise, which I am definitely not okay with that. Peavey was a staple back in the 80s, back in the 90s, even up, I would say, to maybe like the early 2000s, but they really went downhill. Everything started getting significantly cheaper. The quality went down. I remember even watching the Undercover Boss episode where a brand new Peavey mic just didn't work, and they were like, why? And the guy said Peavey mic, and he was like one of the head people at Peavey, and I thought that was kind of hilarious. But, Peavey used to have all of these cool amps. The 6505 Plus, that is just going to keep selling. That is a staple amp. Honestly, I wouldn't surprise me if that amp alone kept them in business. But I know they sell microphones. They sell some guitars, kind of, sort of now. But they're very cheaply made, Chinese things. They don't have any association, to my knowledge, anymore with, like, Van Halen or Wolfgang, anything along those lines. And I honestly don't know of any, off the top of my head, of any artists that are still currently with Peavey. They typically go to other places. Are they ever going to come out of this? I have no idea, because, they were like the cheap U.S. manufacturer. Everybody loved them. Everybody, you had a small Peavey amp. I still have a 6505 Plus. I bought it used a while back. But, I've had a couple Peavey guitars come through my hands, and they did make good things. Do they currently make good things? That's to each their own. I don't think Peavey is a terrible company, but at the same time, they didn't appear to be treating their employees right, and I don't like that whatsoever. Especially when you have people, fresh out of prison, they need a job, nobody wants to hire them. Well, guess what? Now we can have, skilled work for $7.25 an hour because nobody else will hire these people, and they just have to accept getting minimum wage because there's no other option for them. That's kind of where I'm thinking on the topic. But hopefully George Lynch will elaborate. Maybe KDH will dig up some more information. This isn't like a super slandered video, because Peavey is basically saying this isn't true. And at this point in time, without further evidence, I have no reason to believe that it is true. So it's just a rumor, and that's all it is. It's just a rumor. There's no definitive proof. All I can say is if they're not hiring, people that are physically in the prison, they are probably hiring people that are fresh out of the prison, which this is also an assumption. So I may be completely wrong here. So, take this video with a grain of salt. Don't throw Peavey completely under the bus yet until all the facts are out there. Innocent until proven guilty. Sometimes you see these allegations come out, and they can completely ruin a company. Peavey is struggling, as is right now. Let's go to their website and see what they have. I know they reissued a few things not that long ago that a lot of people bought. Let's do instrument amplifiers and guitar amps, and let's see what we got going on here. So, guitar amp heads. Yeah, they got some decent stuff. So you got a 6505 Mini, 6505 2, 6505 original guitar head. Are they not making the Plus anymore? The 2 may now be the Plus. That's my guess. They have a Mark Nason MN. That is really expensive. Ain't nobody paying $5 for that thing. I can tell you that right now. Let's see what else we have here. Classic Series, Buddha guitar amps. Do we have, cabinets. Here we go. Let's see what their cabinets are going for. Yeah, average price, comparable to kind of everything else. I'm not familiar with this Buddha brand. I'm assuming that's some sort of artist. Let's see if they have what instruments we got. Surprisingly, they do have some instruments. I did not even know this. Okay, they only have like 2 series. They have what was the Wolfgang guitar right there. Then they have something called a Raptor series, which is like a Super Strat. A couple $100. But what do they have for basses? They used to have a really cool baseline. It's not even called the Peavey base anymore. It's called the Milestone base. Okay. Yeah, they used to make some really cool basses. Acoustic guitars or any of these actually. Yep, Delta Wood series, so I don't think it's even called a Peavey. Yep. They're not even... It's kind of interesting that they're not putting... Besides, like, 2 guitars, they are not really putting their things on any instruments. Let's see. Replacement speakers, accessories, bags, cases, racks and kit, foot switches. Let's see what we got there. $100 for a foot switch. That seems a little excessive, but I guess to each their own. Yeah, they got some foot switches there for. Well, some of them are better than others. Don't they? Don't they make microphones, microphone accessories, interface? They make interfaces. Did not know that. Hum brake. Yeah, I'm just kind of running through their website, but there's really nothing besides like a tube head that I would probably end up buying used to get cheaper anyway, that I would buy off of Peavey right now. But maybe you're a big Peavey fan. I used to be. Now with this, I'm questioning it a little bit. But let's not drag this out any further. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you have any evidence to prove it one way or the other, link it in the comments. Throw a link down there. I don't typically encourage you to put links down there, but if you have a credible source, throw it down there for the world to see, and I'll definitely take a look at it, and can always make an update if needed. Other than that, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button on your way out, and as always, have a good one.